Okay, so let me see. Is this a skip? Come on. My computer's just extremely slow tonight. So what I might have to do is just go to let me see if I have one in Schoology under racial proportions. I probably do, but let me check. So remember, what you want to remember about scale problems is they are ratio and proportion problems. So while I'm looking for one on Schoology or online, I'm gonna go to one on the study guide. Let's see if I can find one. It should be here. And you're definitely going to have ratio and proportions. You're going to have like 2 or 3 of them. So you have to be prepared for ratio and proportions and scale problems. So I've done this one before. Why can't I find it? There we go. So this is an example of it says objects at scale or scale factors, but it's ratio and proportions. Okay. You use ratio and proportions to solve these types of problems. And first of all, I'm going to show you how to do it mathematically. I'm going to show you how to do it the common sense way. And then I'm going to show you several different ways to solve this problem. So first of all, let me ask you this. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. What do I know? So remember, I keep saying the same thing over every week. When you're doing a word problem, identify what you know first. So when we're looking at this problem, what do I know? What do I know? What's given to us?
Inches and feet, right?
Yeah. Right. So tell me specifically.
0.5 inches equals 2 feet.
0.5 inches equal 2 feet. So that's the ratio that you know. So again, identify what you know. So 0.5 is the 2 feet. What do we also know? A proportion is 2 ratios set equal to each other. What else do I know?
The actual length is 5 feet.
The actual length is 5 feet. So now, is that 5 feet on the second ratio? Is that going to be as the numerator or the denominator?
The denominator.
The denominator. Why? Can somebody tell me why?
Because they're both feet.
Right. You want the same thing on both sides of the equal sign. So feet to feet. Now, this is an unknown. Okay. So the ways you can solve a proportion is I tell you equivalent fractions, unit rate, and then cross multiplication. So you really can't do equivalent fractions here because there's no number that you multiply times 2 that's going to give us 5. We might can do unit rate, but we'll wait for that. So how can I solve this using cross multiplication? What would I do?
So 5 and the 5, that would be 25. And then 2x equals 25 feet.
So that's the common mistake a lot of people make. 2 times x is 2x, but that's not 5. That's 0.5.
The 0.5. Oh my goodness.
So it would be 2.5 times 5.
2.5. So 2x is equal to 2.5. How can I solve for x? What do I need to do?
Bring it over and subtract it.
Nope.
From 2.5.
Right.
Cross multiply.
We did cross
multiply. You divide the 2.
Divide the 2. So once we cross multiply, so 2 times x is 2x, and then we multiply 0.5 times 5, which is 2.5. So the resultant equation that we have is 2x is equal to 2.5. This is a one-step algebraic equation. You must know how to do this. In order to get x by itself, somebody suggested we divide both sides by 2. So we get x is equal to 1.25. That's how you solve this algebraically, by cross multiplying. Okay, well, watch this. All right. Now, I'm going to show you a common sense way to do it. A common sense way to do it. If I know 0.5 inches is 2 feet, so 0.5 is also what fraction?
20%.
Nope. No, I said, no, I didn't say what percent. I said
Oh.
0.5 is what fraction?
5%.
5 tenths. 5 tenths.
Okay, listen to me carefully.
It's 1/2.
0.5 is what fraction?
1/2.
1/2. So if 1/2 is 2 feet, what's 1 inch? If 1/2 is 2 feet, what's how much is 1 inch? Interesting. If 1/2 or 0.5 inches is 2 feet, how long is 1 inch? Interesting.
Say 4.
4.
4.
Right, 4. Now I'm trying to figure out why did it take so long for people to. Does everybody know, right? 2 halves make a whole, right? So if I have a 1/2 inch is equal to 2 feet. If I got another 1/2 inch, that's 4 feet. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So now go with what you know. Well, 1 inch is 4 feet. I'm trying to get what?
5 feet.
5 feet. Can the answer be 20?
No.
Can the answer be 10?
No.
Okay. If 1 inch is 4 feet, 2 inches is what?
8 feet.
8 feet. Can it be 2.5?
No.
No. So right, without even solving this algebraically, we can solve this the common sense way just by going by unit rate. What do I mean by unit rate? How much is 1 inch? 1 inch is 4 feet. By knowing that and using our multiple choice, we know the answer can't be 20, 10, or 2.5. Again, that's a 30-second problem. What happens is sometimes we go in and say, I gotta solve this algebraically. This is why I always tell you, identify your givens, identify what they want to know, and then look at your answers. Because a lot of time you can eliminate a lot of the answers. Like to me, I wouldn't even solve this algebraically. I would have looked at it and said 1 inch is 4 feet. So if I need 5 feet, I know it's a little bit above 1. There's only one answer a little bit above 1. So I'm done. I'm finished. Let me see if I can find another scale problem. I'm trying to open up on my internet. My computer's just acting a little bit slow today. I don't know why. Here, let me see.
Mr. Tinley, I have one for you.
Yes, what's that?
Like suppose there's a jar with 6 yellow marbles and 4 green marbles, 2 red marbles. What is the possibility of drawing a red marble?
Okay, so that's a probability question. So let me do this next question here and we'll answer that question. That's a probability question. Okay, so again, one of the things you want to be able to do as you're going through the ebook and you're going through Schoology, you should be able to identify. You should be able to identify what type of problem and concept it is. So it's very important for you to be able to do that also. Hold on, let me save this, let me clear it. And let me open up this worksheet. And it didn't open up. And you definitely gonna have scale problems. Oh, there we go, right there, there we go. Now, again, I just grabbed this online. This is nothing I actually had, but let's look at it. Let's look at a problem. That's already in unit rate. Let me increase it. I don't like, that's easy too. These are all easy. These too easy, but these are too easy. All right, I'll do one and then I'll go back. These to me, these are too easy, but they might not be too easy for you. All right. The length of the road is 600 miles. If 1 inch represents 30 miles, what is the length of the road? What ratio do we know? What ratio are they giving us?
30 to 600.
Nope. So that's the problem a lot of people do. They just see these numbers. Remember, a ratio is a
600.
comparison.
A ratio.
Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. A ratio is a comparison between two numbers. Where is the comparison that they're giving us in this problem?
1 inch.
1 and 30.
1 inch.
130, 1 to 30.
Okay,
Well, 1
that
inch
is the
30
ratio that we
miles.
know. That is the ratio that we know. So that's, see, a lot of times, see, they gave us that 600 miles first. We got confused. We thought, oh, 60 and 30. No, it's 1 inch represents 30 miles. So we're going to write that ratio. So 30 miles for every 1 inch. That's the ratio we know. We know a proportion are two ratios set equal to each other. So we're going to put our equal sign. And then what else do we know? 600 miles. Is that going to go on the top or the bottom?
The top.
The top. Because why is it going to go to the top?
Miles to miles.
600.
Miles to miles. So now I gave you 3 ways to solve a proportion: equivalent fractions, unit rate, or cross multiplication. And we could do cross multiplication, but it's easy to do this equivalent fractions. What number do I have to multiply 30 by to get 600? What number can I multiply 30 by to get 600?
20.
20. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. What's 1 times 20?
20.
There we go, done. Now, I must change this up a little bit. This is too easy. You're not going to get a problem like this. What they're going to do is they're going to give you something like this. If 1.5 inches represents 30 miles, what is the length of the road? But again, it's the same way. I set up the same proportion. 30 miles for every 1.5 inches is equal to 600 miles over an unknown, or X. So again, we have to multiply both top and bottom by 20. So I don't know if you can do mental math, but if you, so let's try that first. What's 20 times 1?
20.
What's a half of 20?
And
10.
10. So our answer would be 30 inches. If you notice, I took 20 times 1, which is 20, and then 20 times a half. Half of 20 is 10. I did mental math. Now, if you put that in the calculator, you still could do it in the calculator. 20 times 1.5, you're still going to get 30. So that's how you would do that using equivalent fractions. But again, we could also do unit rate. Unit rate tells you, watch this. Or you oops, cross multiplication we could also did. Oops, undo. I don't want the red. Hold on. I don't want the red. Okay, that was equivalent fractions. We could also cross multiply. Use the variable first. Okay, because that's what's going to be on your left. So 30x equal 600 times 1.5. That's 900. Again, 600 times 1 is 600. Half of 600 is 300. Okay, that's mental math. Now, I'm not saying you have to use mental math, use your calculator. But while you're working on math, the more you can do mental math, the more confident you're going to be. Now, if we divide by 30, X is still, we're going to get the same exact answer. X is equal to 30. Okay, you're going to have a scale problem. You're going to have ratio and proportions. I could probably say you're probably going to have 3 to 4 of them easily.
oh, wow.
So you have to be prepared for that. Now, Ms. Davis, you had a probability problem. Let me go to a blank page because you were reading. Where did that problem come from?
No, I saw it on Schoology.
And the probability?
Yeah.
All right, let me try to grab it. Let me see if I can grab it. Here we go. Was it a so how does it was a marble problem?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's see if we can find a nice good one. Again, Schoology, again, is a site that I created for you to practice. So it doesn't matter what the concept is, you can practice. So let's go to the questions. Let's try to find the one you're looking for. You said some marble problems, correct?
Yeah.
Green marble, is this one it right here? Number 2?
Okay. Yeah, probability, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What is probability? What is probability? Can someone tell me what probability is?
Is a chance that you might win a certain, like with the marble, it could be a certain what is green or 4, like 4 to 1 or something like that. I'm getting mixed up a little bit. Chance
So
of you
you're
winning.
close.
It uses
Chance of
ratio.
you winning.
That's something to do with ratios.
Well, it's not really winning. It's not really winning. It's just a chance
Like
of something happening.
something happening.
So in this
yeah.
case,
Might hit that number.
what they're asking is what's the
Chance of an
probability
event happening.
of choosing green? Okay. So I'm gonna give you a nice, easy way. I'm gonna give you a nice, easy way to do your probability problems. They're only going to give you 2 types of probability. Now, probability is its own mathematical concept. When you get to college, you have a whole semester that you could just study probability on. On the GED, you only have to know 2 types of probability questions. One is simple probability. That's the chance of a specific event happening. And compound probability. That's the probability or the chance of multiple events happening. So it's very easy to decipher between the 2. Simple is one event. Compound probability is more than one event. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. The second thing we're going to want to do, the probability is the selected outcome. So come on, Mr. Tinsley, what do you mean by selected outcomes? So if I want to know the probability of selecting a green, I need to know how many green there are. So that's what I mean by the selected outcomes. Whatever that probability they're asking you for is the selected outcomes. So for here, how many green do I have?
There's 6.
6. So probability is the selected outcomes, and I'm sorry, my handwriting is horrible with this mouse, over the total outcomes.
15.
How'd you get 15?
Because you add up all the marbles that you have all together.
Correct. So 5 plus 6 plus 4. So you have 15. Now, the GED exam can ask you for your answer as a fraction. It could ask you your answer as a decimal. And it can ask and give you your answer as a percentage. You have to be ready to give the answer in all 3 ways. This is why I always tell you, know the decimal, the fraction, decimal, percent equivalence. You should know it by heart. If I say 1/5, you should say 0.2, which is 20%. You should know all your common fractions. So let's reduce this to lowest terms, and then I'm gonna show you how to do it on the calculator. So what is the greatest common factor? What is the number, the highest number that goes into 6 and 15?
3.
3. How many times does 3 go into 6?
2.
2. How many times does 3 go into 15?
5.
So if they ask you for the fraction, it will be 2/5. Okay. Now, does anybody know what 1/5 is as a decimal?
20%, right?
No, as a decimal, not as a
Oh,
percent.
I'm sorry, 0.20, right?
0.20. So if 1/5 is 0.0, what's 2/5, which is 2 times as big?
40.40.
0.40. So 2/5 is 0.40. What is 0.40 as a percentage?
40%.
That's all you need to be able to do. Fraction, decimal, percent equivalence. And a lot of times on the GED exam, in the question, they might give you fractions, but then in the answer, they want decimal percentages. So you have to be ready for that decimal percent equivalence. Now, I'm gonna show you how to do it in the calculator, which again, this problem by hand takes you about a minute or two. Now, I'm gonna show you the difference if you understand what probability is. Selected outcomes over total outcomes. Watch this. I'm gonna grab my calculator. Let me clear it. I apologize for all this mess. Watch this. So, how do you put a fraction into this calculator?
ND.
ND. What's going to be my numerator? 6.
Okay.
And what's going to be my denominator?
15.
15. Now, when I hit that right arrow, when I press enter, it automatically reduces it to lowest terms. I didn't do anything. Right? Now, to change it to a decimal, I hit my double arrows. 0.4. To change it to a percentage, second, and this arrow means to convert. Look at that. 2/5, 0.4, 40%. Now, that probability problem just took you less than 1 minute. And this is what I want you to understand. Conceptually, I need you to understand each concept in math. But then after you understand the concept, I want you to use the ebook. I want you to use the calculator. So now, not only can you improve your accuracy of getting the problem correctly, but you also improve your time. Most people do not pass the math exam because they don't finish. And I know I keep harping on that. Most people do not pass the math exam because they do not finish. So understand the concept, learn how to use that calculator. So let's find another probability problem. Let me find another probability problem. Well, let's see. Let me find a compound probability. Okay, there we go, right there. Number 9. Now, I almost guarantee you, it's going to be a very simple probability problem. It's probably going to be a simple probability problem or a compound probability. They usually don't give you 2. They usually give you 1. So in terms of how much time you're going to spend on learning probability, I would say I wouldn't spend more than 1 or 2 days going over. Okay. So in a deck of 52 playing cards, what is the probability of drawing a club and then a second club without replacing? How many people would even know how to start that problem? So identify what you know. What do we know?
That is
52
playing
playing
cards.
It's 52 playing cards.
Mhm.
What else do we know? How many suits are in a deck of playing cards?
4.
4. So if there's 4 suits in a deck of playing cards, how many cards are in each suit?
13.
How did you get 13?
I'm a spades player.
Oh, you said you play spades. So 52 divided by 4, because there's 52 total cards. There's 4 suits. So 52 divided by 4 is 13 cards in each suit. So now, this is a given. This is not in the problem. You have to know that. So now, so what do we want to do? The probability of picking a club. So how many clubs are in a deck?
13.
13. How many total cards are in the deck?
52.
52. So now we can, so now does everybody understand that? So remember, the probability of picking a club is the selected outcome. So how many clubs are there? 13. The total outcomes is the total number of cards, which is 52. I can reduce that to 1/4. Now, but the second part of this is what makes this a compound probability, because there's 2 events. I'm not drawing just 1 club, I'm drawing 2 clubs. But this is what I want you to understand. You find the simple probability of each event, and then you multiply them together. So what does without replacement mean? What does
Without putting them back, right?
without putting it back? So if I started with 13 clubs and I picked a club, how many clubs do I have now?
12.
12.
12. If I started with 52 cards, but I didn't put that card back, how many cards do I have in total?
51.
51.
51. This is the step that most people miss, because this without replacement says we're not putting that card back. So that means I only have 12 clubs if I pick that first club, and I only have 51 cards left. Does everybody understand that?
Mhm.
And now I'm going to multiply the two simple probabilities. So I'm going to multiply 1/4 times 12 over 51. Now, you should know how to cross cancel. If you don't, you can multiply across or you can use your calculator. But what number can go into 4 and 12?
4.
4. So 4 going to 4 one time. 4 going to 12 how many times?
3.
3.
3.
3.
We multiply across. 1 times 3 is
3.
3. And then 1 times 51 is what?
51.
51. So that will be the fraction. Okay, then you can change to a decimal, you can change the percent. We'll get to all that in a second when I put the calculator on the screen, because I'm gonna do it all for you with the calculator. So first you have to understand this. What is probability? It's the chance of something happening. The second thing, what is simple probability? The chance of one event happening. And that formula is selected outcomes over total outcomes. What is compound probability? The chance of more than one event happening. So what are the steps? I need to take the probability of each event and then I multiply them together. You're only going to have 1 or 2 of these. I've never heard anybody tell me they have more than 2 probability questions. You're only going to have 1 or 2. So watch this. I'm going to do it on my calculator. Watch this. So watch this. Let me clear the screen. Let me save this and clear the screen. And we're going to do it on our calculator. Now, without the calculator, it took us about what? About almost 3 minutes. Watch this. Let me clear the screen. I'm going to grab my calculator. I'm going to clear the calculator so we can see all the steps that we need to take. Okay, so and I'm going to maximize the calculator so we see. So first of all, ND, how many clubs? 13. How many total cards? 52. When I get out of that fraction, I press enter. I have the probability of picking my first club.
Mhm.
Second thing, ND, I have 12 clubs left over 51. The simple fact that I know that I have to multiply the 2, then I do 1/4 times. And again, I never use, well, let me not say never. I rarely use the multiplication symbol. I want you to get in the habit of using that parentheses. Okay. Once you get to algebra, they don't use X for multiplication. Okay, it's either a dot or parentheses. So that's why in class, you hardly ever see me use the multiplication symbol on the calculator. I use the parentheses, ND, 12 over 51. Now, what makes this so sweet is it automatically reduces it to lowest terms. If I need my decimal, so let me take a picture of that first. If I need to change it to a decimal, I hit the double arrows, 0.058. If they ask you to round it, again, you can use the calculator if you want it. If you don't know how to round, you can round this. But again, if I want to change to a percent, second arrow percentage. So what it tells you is 5.88%. What they're probably going to do is tell you to round. But those are the steps: fraction, decimal, percent, equivalence. Now, let me just ask, I'm not sure, I can't remember. Sometimes I have issues with remembering all these concepts. How do I round to the nearest whole percent? What do I do? If my answer is 5.88235294.1%, how can I round to the nearest whole percent?
You go to the mode button.
Well, you could do it in the calculator, but what if I wanted to do it by hand? What so if the
You
nearest
go
whole
to the
percent,
8.
It's 6.
look at the 8. Is that 5 or above?
It's above.
That
Above.
5 becomes a what?
A 6.
There you go, 60%. 6%. Okay, you're going to have to know how to round to the nearest whole number, the nearest 10th, and the nearest 100th. Again, learn how to use this calculator. Watch, I'm gonna show you. And I'm just gonna make a number up. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna make a number up. 651.856. Right? I just made that number up. To round to the nearest whole number, I go to mode, come down to float, and go over to my 0. The reason why I select 0, because 0 indicates no decimal places. I hit enter, I hit second here, I hit mode, I hit enter again. It rounded off for me 652. Again, take the time to understand how to use this calculator. You will not fail this exam again. Let's round off to the nearest 10th. I go to mode. If I'm in my 10th place, that's my first decimal. So I go down the float, I go over to my 1, I press enter, I get out of this display screen and press enter. Round it off to the nearest 10th. Now I'm gonna round off to the nearest 100. Again, mode, how many decimal places for the 100th place? 100th place?
2.
2. So I go over to the 2, I hit enter, I get out of this display, I press enter. Now you round it off to the nearest 100. It should be no reason. A lot of people fail this test because they don't finish, or they get answers wrong, they do a lot of work and they round off the number incorrectly. This calculator can almost do everything you need on this exam. Linear equations, slope, quadratic equations, storing a value, evaluating the function, evaluating the algebraic expression, probability. It can do it all for you. Just take the time, take 2 weeks, 3 weeks to go through the ebook. And what you'll notice is that a lot of the problems you'll finish in less than a minute. In less than a minute. So that's what I want you to understand. Again, is that a substitute for learning how to do it? No. I want you to learn how to do it conceptually. Once you understand it, use that calculator to increase your accuracy and increase your time. Okay. All right. So we went over probability. And again, I have 10 questions here. These are indicative of the types of questions you might see on the GED exam. Where's that study guide at? Let me find that study guide and let's look at a different type of problem. Where'd you go? I have I don't know why I can't find it here. GED study guide. I have so many things open. I'm sorry. A lot of people have been listen, it's very important to make your reservations. Okay, a lot of people have been filling up my slots. So make sure that once you make a reservation, if you don't hear an answer or receive an email saying it was confirmed, call me. Okay, and we'll get you a slot. Okay, so let's find one with compound probability. You know what? I forgot what compound probability is that fast. Can somebody explain to me what compound probability is? I forgot that fast. Can somebody tell me what compound probability is again?
Compound probability is more when it's more than one event can happen.
More than one event. So let's look at this question. Let's see, 6, 12. Oh, we got a lot of people in here tonight, about 18. I love it. I'm loving it. All right, so let's look at this. Okay. In a shipment of toys from a manufacturer, the probability that a toy is defective is 1/50. If Marie selects 2 toys from a shipment, what is the probability that both toys are defective? So, wow. That sounds like a hard problem, doesn't it? Does anybody know how they would even do this problem?
1/50 times 2, I think.
Say that again.
1/50 times 2.
Okay, you were almost close. Who was that? Who said that? Simone?
Yeah.
So, first of all, what did I tell you? The probability of more than one event is compound. And what we do is we multiply the 2 simple probabilities. So the probability of selecting the first toy and it's defective is what?
1/50.
1/50.
1/50. What's the probability of picking a second toy that's defective? It's also what?
2/50.
No,
right?
not 2. No,
Still 1/50.
still 1/50. So the probability they give you, you don't have to change, you don't have to do anything. So now, what am I going to do to those two numbers?
Divide.
No,
No.
what did I say? It's
Multiply.
multiply.
Cross multiply. Cross multiply.
No, not cross multiply. I didn't say cross
Divide
multiply.
both of them
Multiply.
together.
So let me make sure we understand. For simple probability, selected outcomes over total outcomes. Compound probability is more than one event. You find the simple probability of each event. So that's what we did here. So because they gave it to us, there's nothing for us to do. What they wanted to see if you understood is that compound probability, we have to multiply the two probabilities. Not cross multiply, not divide. We need to multiply. Cross multiplication is when you're solving a proportion. Okay. So make sure when you're going over these concepts, you're saying the right terminology because that's important. So now if we multiply across, we get 1/2500. So they gave us the probability. All you had to understand was compound probability is multiplying the two simple probabilities. This is a problem. If you understood what they wanted, should take you less than a minute. But what happens is they give you all this information and it's like, oh my goodness. Oh, what do I do? Key thing as you're looking at it. First of all, they give you the word probability. They already tell you it's a probability problem. So the first thing you're thinking, is this simple? Is this compound probability? How many things are happening? I'm picking 2 toys. That's compound probability. So I need to find the probability of picking the first toy. I need the probability of picking the second toy. They gave it to us. Then we multiply them together, we get 2,500. Everybody? Okay, so make sure, and listen, again, you're gonna have 1 or 2 questions. I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on probability. I will spend a couple days. I will make sure I know how to do simple probability and the fact that compound probabilities are multiplying the 2 simple probabilities. That's what I would focus on. I wouldn't get much more deeper than that because they're only gonna give you 1 or 2 questions. Okay. Any other questions that people been working on? Oh, I know one. I saw it.
How do you do commission?
Yes,
Oh,
I sent
commission.
you that. I sent you that interest
Commission.
and decrease, increase.
Commission. Not hard at all. Let's see if we can find one. What is it? First of all, what is commission? So a lot of times, the reason why people can't do the problems is because they don't know what the words mean. What is commission?
The percentage that you get from like a job or like if yeah, your commission that you get, your percentage.
Exactly. So it's what percentage you make on sales.
Okay, what percentage you make on sales, exactly.
So appliance salesman, shoe salesman work on commission. So the more you sell, car salesman, the more you sell, the more you're going to make. Let's look at a problem. Let's see if I can find. There we go. Perfect one right here. I'm gonna show you how to do it mathematically or algebraically. Then I'm gonna show you how to do it in a calculator. This problem on the calculator should take you 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Doing it by hand take you about a minute and a half. So first of all, what do we know?
$285 per week plus
$285 per week
commission.
plus
8% commission.
8% commission. Okay. What else?
If Dominique sells 4,213 worth of merchandise in 1 week, how much will his total earnings be?
Okay. So $285 plus 8% commission. I have no idea how to do this problem. Can someone tell me?
5 to multiply the 280. No, multiply the total the 4,213 by the 8%.
That's 285, 620.
Okay, so what is 4,213 times 0.08? Now, where did I get 0.08 from?
That's
You
the
have to change the
decimal.
just multiply.
That's 8% as a decimal. So if you don't know, if you want to change any percent to a decimal, you move the decimal 2 places to the left. So when we have a whole number, our decimal point is right here. So to change percent to a decimal, we need to move it 2 places. 1, 2. When there's nothing there, we put a what?
0.
Zero.
A 0.
Zero.
So 8% is the same as 0.08. Does everybody understand that?
Mhm.
Yes.
If you didn't understand it, you could also use your what?
Calculator.
Calculator. So what is 4213 times 0.08?
300.
337 point, I mean, 337.04 cents.
Hold on, I just totally messed that up. It's hard to write sometimes with a mouse, but you said 337.04.
Yes,
Okay, so that's how much you made on commission. Is that how
right.
much you made for the week?
No, you add
No.
285.
You have
This
to
is
add
why
it with the 285.
you must add the 285. But this is
Yes.
why this 337.04, $337.04 is here. They want you to say, oh, I got that. I got that answer. A. Most people, because this is their first step, answer A. But again, your salary for the week includes your commission plus your salary, 285. So we must add that 285 and we get, what's that, 622.04. Now, I'm gonna tell you right here, this is a 15-second problem. If I know 337, like for example, I'm just gonna round 337 off. That's 340. 285, I'm gonna round that off, 290. I can do that in my head. 300 and 340 is like 640. Right? The only answer anywhere close to 640 is 622. So you can do it mathematically where you take 8% of 4213 and get 337.04 and you add 285. So that's how you would do it by hand. Watch with the calculator. Watch this. If you know that when you have to find a part, when you have a percent and you have the whole, if you know you need to multiply, watch this. First of all, let me go back in and change my mode back to flute. So it doesn't round all my answers off. That's very important. Watch this. I'm gonna do this problem for you. I'm gonna do this problem for you in less than 15 seconds. 285 plus, in parentheses, 4213 times 8%. Hold on, Mr. Tinsey, you can actually put the 8% in the calculator? You mean I don't have to change it to a decimal? Watch this. 15 seconds. Look at that. I'm done. It tells you what to do. 285 per week plus 8% commission rate. You just need to know, you need to take this 8% and multiply by $4,213. Now, what you also need to understand about math is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So since I wanted to find a commission, I had to put this in parentheses. Because I wanted to find this first, then add that 285. Look at that, 6204, I'm done. That didn't even take me 15 seconds. Now, let me show you something else. They love this problem. So I'm glad whoever said this problem, they love this problem. You're going out to dinner with your friends and the bill is $28. And the sales tax is 8% and the tip is 20%. Watch this. So it's $27, right? The tip, the taxes is 7% times 1.07. How did I get where did I get 1.07 from?
Wait a minute, what you had said first?
Right, I don't remember the question.
It sounds like you said $27.
And a 7% sales tax.
Yeah, the sales tax.
What most people or most instructors or most adult educators do is tell you to take the part. So they tell you to take the 27 and multiply by 0.07. Then you get your answer which is 189. And then you take the 27 and then you add the 189 and you get 2889. Instead of doing 3 steps, what you realize is tax is added on. So if I need to add something onto the bill, 100% is the total bill. That was 100%. That's the total amount. Now I'm adding 7%.
Oh, you
So
added
100,
100% in. Got it.
and now I have 107%. So now I change that to a decimal, 1.07. So now multiply by 1.07, I get 2889. Now, if my tip was 20%, then all I do is take that amount and times it by
Add that to the
1.2.
total.
I'm done. 20 seconds. Now you have to round that off. It'll be $34.67. But that's the type of problem they love to give on the GED. And instead of you doing all those steps manually, learn how to use your calculator. They hardly ever have solve for the whole. They usually have finding the part and finding the percentage. That's the ones they usually get. So you got to be prepared for those. So practice enough to where you know how. Okay, if they add something on. Now say if they said this, watch this. I'm gonna give you another example. Let me save this. Let me clear it. And let me give you another example. Watch this. And I'm gonna make, this is made up. I'm making these up right now. So say for example, this is Christmas time, right? And you got all these sales, and this jacket is $660. And there's a 40% discount. How much is the jacket going to cost? So
Okay,
is
so
a 40% discount, is that added on to the 660 or is it taken away from the 660?
It's taken away, right?
taken away.
So because you know it's taken away, watch this. 100% minus 40% means I'm going to pay 60%, right? So now all you do is 660 times 0.6. Done. It's going to cost me $396. What most adult educators tell you to do is do 660 times 0.4, then subtract that from 660. But then we get the same answer. Understanding what a percent means. If it's a 40% discount, means I'm still paying 60%. So I just need to know 60%. 660 times 0.6, I'm done. So again, this comes from, and this is what I want you to do. This is what I need you to understand. You need to practice. Like if you're ready to take your test, I should see you on Schoology taking practice tests, 2, 3, 4 tests every single day. The smaller quizzes should only be taking you 10 to 15 minutes. The practice GED should take you between an hour and 2 hours. But if you're taking those smaller assessments or those smaller quizzes, you should be taking 2, 3 of those a day. Now, should you be jumping all over the place? No, this is what I need you to understand. If you score like a 30 or 40 on a quiz, don't move on to the next area. Find out how to do that first. Now, I see somebody said increase and decrease, percent increase and decrease percentages. I just saw that in my
Mr. Chrissy,
yes.
where'd you get that 4 from though? I'm confused.
What for?
You just erased it because
Hold on. Don't worry. I can always undo technology.
You said it was 40%. No, you said it was 4%. No, you said 40, right? You said
Right.
40%.
So remember, fraction decimal percent equivalence, right? So if it's a 40% discount, right? That means I'm paying 60%. So 100% minus 40% is 60%. Well, 60% as a decimal is 0.6.
Okay.
So then I just multiplied the 660 times the 0.6. Now you could have put the percentage in there. You could have said 660 times 60%. You don't have to change it to a decimal. And this is why I tell you, go through the ebook, learn all these shortcuts. I'm telling you, it'll save you months and months of time to pass this test. I'm telling you, it'll save you months and months of time of study. I'm telling you. All right. I said I was going to do an increase and decrease problem, right? Let me clear this out. You see these sometimes. I haven't seen one in and I haven't seen because I haven't taken it, but I haven't heard anybody having to do one, but I'll do one. Let's see, I'm gonna make something up again. Say for example, you sold 52 computers last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, you sold 48 computers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is the percent increase or percent decrease? So first of all, if I went from 52 to 48, did I increase or decrease?
You decrease.
So you already know it's a percent decrease problem. Now, this formula is not on your formula sheet. This is why you rarely see this on the GED exam. For most intents and purposes, they only use problems where you can use a formula on your formula sheet. Percent decrease, this is the formula you need to know for percent increase or percent decrease. New minus old divided by old.
Over old. Right.
So the
Times
52,
100, right?
say that again.
Is new divided by old. I mean, new subtracted from old and divided by old and times 100, right?
Why is it times 100?
That's what I've been learning on your
No. What I'm saying is, why is it times 100? I'm asking you a question.
I mean, the total is the total after you divide.
No, what I'm asking you is, why did you tell me?
Oh, it's for the percentage. Sorry,
Right.
percentage.
Right.
Percentage.
Percent means out of 100. So to change a decimal to a percent, you multiply by 100. That's why you move it 2 decimals.
Right.
So I wanted to see if you understood. So what's my new value?
Your new value is, let me do the math. Hold on.
No, I want you to just tell me the number. Is it 52 or 48?
Oh, your new value is 48.
48 minus 52
Uh-huh.
divided by 52.
52.
Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
What happens is most people do 52 minus 48, but it really doesn't matter which one you do. Why? Because you already know it's a percent decrease.
Right.
So whether you get a negative number or a positive number, here we're going to get a negative number. But that negative number tells you it's a percent decrease, but we already know it. So I'm just going to grab my calculator. So let me save it, let me clear it, and let me grab my calculator. Again, my calculator is my best friend. I'm going to hit ND. I'm going to do parentheses, 48 minus 52 over 52. You let the calculator do all the work, right? But guess what? I can change it to a percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
Right.
I didn't do any work. Learn how to use this calculator. So your percent decrease was, if we rounded off to the nearest whole percent, would be 8%. So it'd be 8% decrease.
Right.
Understand?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm loving it. Any other questions? So let me see. Let me check the messages. I ain't see anything else. Anything else? Wow, that time went fast. It's 6:55 already.
Slow.
Yeah, I got here late. Dang, I missed it.
I'm just wondering something about the Schoology. It says something like I have to have an access code.
Yes. So what happens is, have you ever sent me an email? Is this your first time here?
No, I was here last Monday.
Did you send me an email?
I did.
And so I didn't send you an access code for Schoology?
No, sir. I didn't get one in my mail.
All right, just do me a favor. Just send me an email reminding me to send you the access code for Schoology.
Okay.
Okay. If you don't hear from me tomorrow, call me.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Any other problems? Any other concepts that you don't understand?
Slope.
So
Slope.
distance between 2 lines.
Slope of a line.
The slope of a line. What? So let me ask you this. So what do you mean slope of a line?
Mhm.
So what you should know is this. First of all, slope is going to be prevalent on your exam.
Ooh,
You're going to
Jesus.
have to be able to find the slope from 2 points.
Mhm.
You're going to have to find the slope from a graph.
I don't
You're going to
understand
have to
any
find the
of
slope from a table. You're going to have to be able to find a slope from an equation. There are
Mhm.
2 forms you should be familiar with in equations, which is slope-intercept
Slope formula. I've been
and
on this
standard
all.
form. So when we talk about slope and we talk about linear equations, you're talking of anywhere from 7 to 10 problems. You're talking about anywhere from 15 to 25% of your exam. So now again, if you go to my YouTube channel, if I sent you links of how to do all of these, whether you're in this session, whether you use Schoology, whether you use my YouTube channel, this is one of the most important areas you need to know. Okay, because not only will you have to find slope, you're also going to have to find the equation of a line, and you're going to have to find the equation of a line from 2 points, given a slope and a point, from a table, and the equation of a line of a parallel or perpendicular line.
Mhm.
So if you quickly look, listen, I need you to understand. This is guaranteed on your exam. Oh, equation line from a graph too. I forgot graph. Equation of a line from a graph. I can almost guarantee you're gonna have to find slope or the equation of a line from 2 points. Can almost guarantee. You might have one or you might have both. You're definitely gonna have to find a slope from a graph. You're definitely probably gonna have to find an equation of a line from a table. You are guaranteed to have to find an equation of a line from a slope and a point. You're guaranteed to find the equation of a line of a parallel or perpendicular line. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So right there, if you just look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's at least 6 problems on your exam out of 40. You're probably gonna have more than that though. Probably anywhere between 6 and 10. But that's an area that if you don't know how to do it, I would start there first. So first of all, what I would do is, first of all, take the pre-algebra test. You got to make sure you know the basics of math. Make sure you're in that 70, 80 range of pre-algebra. So if you go in my Schoology, you'll see I got a pre-algebra test. It's no reason to jump to linear equations and quadratic equations if you don't know how to combine like terms, if you don't know how to multiply binomials, if you don't know how to do the exponent rules. What people are doing is they trying to do it the fast way. No, it takes investment. It takes time. So if you failed the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I can guarantee you're going to pass it, but you got to put the work in. So there's no shortcut to hard work. But what I'm telling you is that if you work hard for 30 to 60 days, you're going to pass that exam. I guarantee you. Because I'm going to give you all the shortcuts and all the things you need to know to be able to pass the exam. So when I look last week, like the 2, 3 weeks before, I had 40, 50, 60, 70 assessments, exams on Schoology I had to mark. This week, not even 20. Oh, Mr. Tinsley, Christmas is coming up. The holidays is coming up. My children need this. Listen to what I'm telling you.
You can't get the laptop on.
If you're trying to pass this math test and get your diploma, get that better job, it's going to take sacrifice. So when I only see 20 people get on last week, and most of those quizzes was only from 3 people. 3 people. You got to ask yourself, do you really want it? It takes commitment every single day. So I know the holidays are coming up. So maybe not spend an hour, spend only 30 minutes. Instead of spending 2 hours, maybe only spend an hour. but it takes commitment. This math test, I had people that have failed this test 17 times. Bought the ebook, went hard for 30 days, passed the exam. I had a person that failed 17 times. I said, don't worry, go through the ebook, give me 2 weeks, give me 30 days, you'll pass the test. Had a person fail it 11 times, 8 times. I can almost guarantee you that if you put the time in, going through that ebook, practicing on Schoology, you're going to pass the exam. And if you purchase the ebook, I'm going to give you a one-on-one session just for you. Whatever you need to pass the test. So, excuses are tools of incompetence, and those that use them seldom accomplish anything. Stop making excuses why you can't study every day. If you want this, you have to go get it. And guess what? That's the lesson in life, because nobody's going to give you anything. If you want something, you got to go get it. You have to go get it. Commit yourself. So if your children, husband, your significant other, now I can't, if you got 2 jobs and you're tired, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. But what you can do is, because I had a young lady talk to me, she had 2 jobs. Said, Mr. Tensley, I don't have a whole lot of time. I said, well, Schoology is right on you can put it right on your phone. When you take a break, do your square roots, cube roots. Do your ratio and proportions. Do those small quizzes right on your phone. She started doing them right on her phone during her break while she's eating her lunch. If you want it, you will make a way. Because that's real life. Anything you want, if you want it and you desire it, what do? You find a way to get it. Well, that's the same thing about this math test and this diploma. Because I have so many students who are waiting to go to nursing school, who are waiting to go to college, who are waiting to get their promotion. Stop putting off, stop procrastinating. If you have a test scheduled, if you're trying to take this, if you scored anything over 140, you should be able to pass this exam in 30 days. Point blank. If you scored anything over 140, you should be able to pass this exam in 30 days. Go through the ebook for 2 weeks, practice for 2 weeks, get your one-on-one session with me, go take your exam and pass. But you got to put the work in. All right?
Mr. Tinsley,
Mm-hmm.
I have been doing it off my, I know you're talking about me, so I'm just gonna step